Welcome to my tutorial of all Ice Cavern related bingo goals. I will not be covering any hard strats because this tutorial is directed towards beginners. So to start out with Ice Cavern, it's very straightforward. You're always going to be heading through the same room. For this room, you can kill these freezers, it's just fine. Killing the 4 freezers will open up this gate. You can do a clip through this gate using one of the freezers that approaches you, but it is only a few seconds faster, so if you're not comfortable, it is perfectly fine killing them. So what you want to do this clip is you want to line up with the 3rd bar from the right. I like to line up so the right side of the bar is lined up with the middle of Link's head. Then you can just pull hookshot and hold Z, wait for the freezer to come close to you, and then just hold left and spam hookshot until you clip. If you don't clip, it's not a big deal. You can just kill the freezers, or you can try it again. So again, just hold hookshot, wait for the freezer, hold left, and you'll clip. I like to side hop through those. You can roll through them, or you can slash them if you want. Okay, so the 3 paths here, the left path leads to Iron Boots, the straight path leads to the map room, and the right path leads to the compass room. There is a Sculptula directly here. If you're going for Sculptulas, you only need to go to the compass room right here and go towards the Iron Boots room, not all the way though. So to this Sculptula, get the Sculptula, you can just break these. It's important to note that this icicle that I wrote closer to this wall is important for clipping in past that red ice in front of there. So if you are intending on clipping through that red ice and you also want this Sculptula, it's a good idea to leave this icicle. Otherwise you will need to reload the room. So right now I'll show you a way to get past the red ice leading to the compass room. An easy way to get past it is you can actually do a wedge grip right here. There is a setup. I don't use it. I use my ESS left strat. But you can roll into this little corner here, side hop right, and then if you side hop left, Link should just grab the wedge like that. Like one more frame, I think. Right there. And what you need to do is you actually need to release the wall side hopping, otherwise you will not actually clip like that. Otherwise, I just like to do that. And everyone has their own setups, so that's not a big deal. You can make this jump without hover boots. I like to use hover boots just to be safe. This little wall right here is not actually fully solid. You can actually walk into a little bit without clipping in, and you can pretty easily make that jump. So in this room, left side is the heart piece. I actually forgot to add that to the goal list, but that is another goal in Ice Cavern. There's also a Sculptula right above the heart piece, and to the right is the compass. So in order to get the heart piece, you can either use the blue fire, which is right there, same with the compass, or I will show you ways to get both of those without using blue fire. Blue fire is only a little bit slower. I'd say probably 15 seconds or so. If you want to do that, that's perfectly fine. So we'll get the Sculptula. To get this heart piece with that blue fire, we want to slowly guano walk into the right side of it like this, so that Link is no longer actually moving left. Then you want to pull a bomb, place it down, target the wall, side hop into it, and then crouch stab while holding upright. And if you don't crouch stab too fast, you should clip into the ice and pick up the heart piece like so. If you start crouch stabbing before Link has moved all the way into the bomb, you will actually just clip on through the other side of the red ice and you won't pick it up. So you want to take it a little slow, but if you take it too slow, the bomb will of course explode. And the reason we place the bomb is to stop Link from moving further right. So the way to get to the compass is the same way we will use to get to the map. So you can use the same thing for both places. you can actually do a damage boost with bombs to clip through the ice. So what we're going to do is we're going to place the bomb right behind us and buffer to the second damage frame. So this is the first damage frame. And this is the second one. It's a little hard to see here, but you can tell it's the second frame because Link will kind of lunge forward. And during this frame, you can actually open the chest if you're close enough. Okay. Another thing to note is if for some reason you are in this room, let's say for Skulltulas, and you need to go over towards the Iron Boots room, you can actually just grab the blue fire right there, and it might be about the same speed as using the clip. It might be a few seconds slower, but you really don't need to worry about just a few seconds. Especially if you are bad at buffering. So right now we're just getting the rupees. You can get them in any way you want. I'm sure I did not use the fastest route, so I would advise using a route that you think is fast. So now we're heading to the map room. The map room is really only useful for getting the map itself. There's not much other reason for going here. So in this room, there are a few ways you can get up to the map itself. There's a freezer directly up and just a little bit to the right of me. You can do a pretty difficult jump slash after a hook shot up to the freezer. I would advise not doing that. What I'm going to do instead is I'm going to go to the right side freezer and hook shot up to that. And by doing that, you can avoid all of the keys that try to hit you, and you can avoid the freezer trying to freeze you. Let's come over here. You can aim a little bit above it. Oh, and I got hit anyways, so it didn't matter. You can aim a little bit above it. It has a very large hitbox. Be careful of a Navi text right here. And now you just want to kill this freezer without. Make sure you actually have damage sword. A way to avoid the freezer is if you have hover boots. See, you can't actually jump there, but if you have hover boots, what I like to do is I like to equip hover boots and just hover over there, which avoids needing to kill the freezer at all. So we're going to do the same thing with the map as we did with the compass. Pause buffer to the second damage frame, right there. And now we can open it. So a good thing to note about Ice Cavern map and compass is they are both considered fairly fast. They each take about, by themselves, from Lost Woods, about 3 to 4 minutes, I'd say. So if you have a map and compass goal, it is generally considered a good idea to go to Ice Cavern. There are a few exceptions. If you have only 6 maps or 6 compasses, it might be better to go to another dungeon instead. You can do a little tiny jump right there to climb the ledge. It's not a big time saver, so if you don't get it, it's not a big deal. And you don't want to get frozen like that. Okay, so now what I'm going to show is equip past this red ice. You want to get into this corner right here. Make sure this icicle right here is still here. The other two do not matter at all. In fact, you want to break the one in front of you. So make sure all the way into the corner. A good way to set this up is you can just jump slash and hold shield, and you'll be right in position. And you want to buffer to the second recoil frame. So a good setup I like to do is ignore the jump slash to get into position and just kind of set it up yourself. And that's why the jump slash is kind of useful, because otherwise you might miss. So we want to pause buffer to the second recoil frame. Then we want to equip hover boots and just hold straight down right. And we should land inside. The other method uses a different camera angle, which is why I don't like it as much, but it allows you to set it up more easily with the jump slash. It does also probably a little faster. So you want to do this again. This time, because of this camera angle, you want to hold straight up left, and once you clip, you want to hold up. This one is a little bit riskier because it's possible for you to hold up too soon or too late, causing you to void. So now once we're through here, it's a good idea to just keep your hover boots equipped if you have them. There will be a rupee right here. So you want to get this rupee first. Come back down here. If you want to do a ground jump up to this rupee and all of the other rupees, that's perfectly fine, but I'm going to show a slightly faster strat. So what you can do is you can actually do a hover gainer on top of these little things. So there's one here, there's one there. And by doing a hover gainer on top of those, you can actually skip using any kind of bombs or precise jumps. Just run at it. And that. And if you fail that, you can actually just do a ground jump. Okay, now there's normally a rupee inside of this red ice. What you can do is you can actually just jump slash it. In order to actually jump slash and hit the rupee, you want to go to the right side of the red ice, and you generally want to look straight at it. The angle isn't too precise, but it's not so lenient that you can do it from almost any angle. Then almost any position will work, as long as you're directly in front of it. And you can just jump slash, and if the rupee was there, I would have gotten it right there. So now you want to come over here, want to climb on top of here, and now we'll do the same kind of hover gainer that we did before. This one is a little more precise, so don't feel bad if you miss it. And I missed it there anyways. But that's okay, you can just do a ground jump. If you're not comfortable with your buffering or the red ice clip coming up, you can get blue fire right here to just melt the blue fire coming up. Otherwise, you just want to hover over here, and there will be a rupee on top of that. And for the last rupee, it's very simple. We just come over here, climb on here, and we just got the rupee. And then we can just get the skull right here, and that's all 3 skulls. Obviously, if you're just here for the Skulltulas, you don't need to collect the rupees at all, you can just get Skulltula from right there. And now that we have all the rupees, we want to come over here and do a ground jump. To avoid the 2 freezers here, it's very simple, you can just walk around them. You want to wait for this one to stop though. So now that we're here, if you got blue fire before, you can just melt this ice. Otherwise, I'm going to show you a way to clip through it. You want to get into this corner right here. The angle is not very precise at all, it's very lenient. You generally want to target around right here. If you target too far straight, you probably won't clip. If you target too far straight to the wall, you'll just target the wall. So somewhere in between there. Then what you want to do is you want to turn around. You want to make sure the camera is here just to make it easier. Turn around, do a normal slash, and you'll notice Link's sword hit the red ice right there. So this is the first frame. This is a frame before we want. This is the frame we want. It's very easy to tell the frames apart because the white flash you get from the sword recoil on the red ice is large on the first frame. And on this frame, you can see that the recoil flash is very small. So what you want to do on this frame is you want to equip hover boots and hold down, and you should clip right through the red ice. What I like to do is, because you have hover boots equipped, I like to do a slash, which will stop your movement, but it's not necessary. So once you're in this room, you'll have a White Wolf list fight. There's nothing amazing about that fight, so you don't really need to know anything about it. Once you kill the White Wolf boss, a chest will spawn that contains iron boots. In order to do mini wet skip, you want to have half a heart. It's very frequent in Ice Cavern to have glitched health, which basically means you're at either a quarter of a heart or you're at 3/4 of a heart. And basically what it means is your health is off-centered by 1/8, which doesn't actually show up in your heart meter, but it shows up as damage as either 1/4 of a heart or 3/4 of a heart. So you want to make sure you actually have enough health to die from one more hit of a bomb. Otherwise you will fail Serenade Skip. So to actually do Serenade Skip, what you want to do is you want to drop a bomb. It doesn't actually matter where it is, just as long as it's close enough to actually hit you. You want to get in front of the chest like I am right now. And you want to buffer to the second explosion frame. This is the first frame, and this is the second frame. You can tell the frames apart because the camera will move down slightly. If I went one frame further, the camera would move back to the original position. So you want to open the chest on this frame. Obviously I can't do that because the chest is already opened. But what this will do is it will cause you to die the same frame you open the chest, which will cause you to die during the Serenade cutscene, and will respawn you at the start of Ice Cavern with Serenade and Iron Boots. Alright, this has been a tutorial for all Ice Cavern related goals in Bingo. I hope you enjoyed it, and please let me know if I can improve on anything. Thank you. Alright, that's probably enough for me.